Speaker.
I call Matt Ducey.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. It's a pleasure and honour to rise in wholehearted support of the Children, Young Persons and their Families Advocacy Workforce and Age Settings Amendment Bill in its third and final reading. Just to pick up where that last Speaker resumed his seat, Mr Speaker, he used the term "the system was inherently broken." And I think the Minister, and I acknowledge the work of the Honourable Anne Tolley, has been very clear from the outset around this bill and future legislation that the system is broken. I don't think we can go through another reform. There's been enough reforms well traversed in this House over the course of this bill, Mr Speaker, and that's why this bill seeks to bring in a root and branch review of an inherently broken system. Because we hear things from the expert advisory panel when they make statements like, "We did not know if we were causing more harm by removing our vulnerable young people from their families into state care. We did not know if we were causing more harm," Mr Speaker. And that's why it's disappointing to hear from the opposition that they won't be supporting this bill tonight, Mr Speaker. I mean, what do you come into politics for if it's not to support the vulnerable? What do you come into this House for if it's not to support the vulnerable? What do you seek to do in Parliament if it's not to support the vulnerable, Mr Speaker? And it's this government that supported the vulnerable over the course of this last term. If it's not getting more vulnerable into work and getting young people out of benefit-dependent families, increasing the benefit the first time in 43 years, and now bringing in legislative change that will put vulnerable young people at the heart of a service that will seek to make a difference in their life, Mr Speaker. And that's what this bill is about, Mr Speaker. So to acknowledge the hard work of Honourable Anne Tolley and, of course, the Chair of the Social Services Select Committee, Mr Speaker, because when you look at the facts, okay, the departmental report said out of the 22 submissions, all submissions supported the intent of the bill. All submissions, only 22 submissions, and they all supported the intent of the bill. And that's in the departmental report, Mr Speaker. So what this bill seeks to do, Mr Speaker, is not only increase the state care of these vulnerable young people from 17 to 18, but put them at the centre of the decision-making, not only of the care planning meetings, but the preparatory meetings as well, putting them at the heart of it, but also provide the ability to bring in specialist care, Mr Speaker. For some of these vulnerable young people, we need to make a change. And the way you make a change is being therapeutic skill sets in psychology, psychotherapy, as well as bringing in an advocacy service as well, Mr Speaker. Because let's remind ourselves, Mr Speaker, of some of these vulnerable young people. 7 out of 10 will leave school with no qualifications. 90% will be on a benefit before the age of 21. 6 in 10 young men will have correction sentences by the age of 21, Mr Speaker, and 21% will have received a custodial service, Mr Speaker. This is a brave step to addressing, as the previous speaker said, Mr Speaker, a system that is inherently broken, and I wholeheartedly support it to the House. Thank you.
A point of order in Lees-Galloway.
Mr Speaker, we've made very good progress today, and it would seem unfair to require a member to start their contribution less than 2 minutes before the House rises. So I seek leave for the House to rise at this point.
Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Then, members, this debate is interrupted and set down for resumption next sitting day, and the order in the House is suspended, and I will resume the chair at 9 a.m. tomorrow for the extended sitting. Good evening.